Hey guys, neighbors, I'm really excited today for this interview. We're doing something a little bit different than our normal home tours. We're going to actually tour a school because it is the number one question that we get asked as realtors in the state of Nevada, or especially in Clark County, is Darin, I've heard all kinds of things about the school systems there, and we're concerned about moving to Southern Nevada. And so I wanted to make sure that first and foremost, we address that today. And we're doing that by being here at one of the best schools, Alexander Dawson, located here in Summerlin. And we are with Roxanne Stansberry, the head of school, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Hello,
And Krista Jacobson. And Krista, you are the director of early childhood
and admissions.
And admissions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So, guys, we are here in Summerlin today, just to kind of give you a perspective of where we're at as far as location. We're just down the street from the Ridges and the Summit, so we're deep up here in Summerlin, and we got a great opportunity today to really dive into what's going on here in the school system, and the great schools that are here in Southern Nevada, and we wanted to talk about that today. So, Roxanne, I want to start with you. Give us a little bit of background on Alexander Dawson, the school, just kind of a brief overview of the school itself.
Yep, you got it. We're 25 years old, and when the school first started in 2000, our founder, who is G.B. Henderson, it was a school that was built upon his legacy, a man who walked through life like no other because he was a real change agent. And he loved to solve real world problems and loved to look at challenges as something that was inspiring to him. Okay. And we thought about how important it is for our kids to have that mindset, to not be afraid of mistakes, but to really look at how they can make their mark in this world by building strong connections and having this lifelong learning love.
Very nice. And so, question for you, Krista. Overall, how many students are here on site?
Yeah, so we have 578 students. Our school is early childhood through 8th grade, so 3 years old all the way up to as they graduate in 8th grade with us. We have in our early childhood center 5 classrooms, and then once they get to kindergarten, 3 sections of 20 students each, so about 60 students in each grade level, so small class size.
Wow.
Early childhood through kindergarten is 2-teacher model, and then 1st through 8th grade is a single teacher, but we're incredibly lucky. We have an abundance of resources on campus for the children. So we have a large learning support team. We have a coordinator of student services. We have 2 counselors on campus. We provide, outside OT and speech therapy that comes to see our children on campus. So what we're really, really fortunate is that as our children enter our doors and spend their day with us, they have adults everywhere that care about them and getting them exactly what they need.
Very nice. So one of the questions for you is, as far as class size, because that's obviously a concern in Clark County, how does that compare, and just so we're clear here for everyone watching, Alexander Dawson is a private school. So with the class size that you guys have currently here on campus versus Clark County, how does that compare?
Typically it's about half. So we'll see class sizes in Clark County depending about 40 to 45 students. We're also really fortunate. We, our faculty and staff, we have a pretty strict requirement for them to be educators on our campus. We all are lifelong learners and have quite a commitment to continuing to better ourselves. So our teachers are really, really specialized in content area, but they also, love and continue to grow and learn as educators. So we're pretty lucky. We have a really healthy professional development fund and expectation where we all take place in that every year. But for us, class size is really, really important. We need to be able to meet the changing needs of the children in the classroom, and keeping the numbers, on the lower side is incredibly important.
And you said there's 2 teachers per class, right?
Up till from early childhood to kindergarten. Okay. After that, 1st grade, but lots of other support faculty and staff that push in and pull out to give them what they need.
Very nice. So speaking of that, one of the things I was going to ask you, and one of the things obviously when you first come into here, it's guard gated. And the one thing I want to compliment you guys on that I thought was really cool is that not only are your security guards very friendly, but very thorough at the same time. So it's a nice pleasant face when you show up, but you know that they obviously have the best interest of the children in mind. Can you share something with us about your security staff and how that works here with the school?
Yeah, absolutely. I think safety is number one, top of mind of every single parent. And so that's our number one priority here at Dawson. Just last summer, our board, which is also part of a foundation, gifted us with $570,000 just towards our safety and security upgrades. And so we have a security staff of 7 employees. We've also been able to upgrade all of our cameras so that they're motion sensor. They're around the perimeter of our school, also within our school building, and really just making sure that we're constantly engaged in what are the best practices to make sure that there's effective communication. We have a keyless entry system into every single door on this campus, both exterior and interior. With the push of one button, the entire school gets locked down.
Wow.
And I think those are important features that you think about or that you don't want to have to think about, but are really important in schools in this day and age. So we are a whole child education, and that means that we value every piece of educating a human.
Okay.
And that goes from who you are as an artist to who you are as a mathematician, who you are as an athlete, also who you are as a friend. So we think about all those aspects, all those competencies that you need to be successful in the real world and also to be a good human in the real world. And we design a program that allows them to apply those competencies throughout their time here at Dawson. And something that we're really proud of is that service learning is just a common thread throughout their experience at Dawson and their understanding of civic efficacy, and that with some of the knowledge that they're gaining, some of the privilege that they get from coming to a school like Alexander Dawson means that you're also going to give back. And what does that look like to be an empathetic leader who knows how to listen and to be able to stand up and advocate for others?
That's very cool. Wow. Yeah, one of the things I noticed just sitting in this room. So what is this room here that we're in today?
Yeah, this is our middle school design lab.
Okay. This is really, I was sharing with Krista that your Dawson design process. I'm like, I think I'm going to implement that in my office. That's so cool to investigate, define, brainstorm, propose, iterate and improve and share, and then revisit if needed. It's really cool to see something like that. And then just obviously to walk in here and see all the things that the kids are creating. So there's obviously a lot of diversity to the programming as far as what they're doing, and they get different types of lessons. And so obviously, and I know you guys said you had a health and fitness program here as well.
So yeah, we could talk a little bit about specials. I can cover the ECK, and Roxanne can talk about some of the electives. They, during their regular school day, they're really fortunate. They spend time in their homeroom, but starting in early childhood, they go to health and fitness. They have art and music. We add science when they're in kindergarten. When they get to first grade, we add a world language of Spanish or Mandarin. We have a gorgeous library. And then as they get to middle school, also design lab in kindergarten through 4th grade. Middle school electives become really robust and really sort of passions that they can share.
Yeah. One thing that we have to think about is that our students' future looks so different than anything we prepared for while we were in school.
Sure.
And so if school looks the way it did when we were in school, then we're not doing a good job making sure that they have those skills that a robot can't do.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
So we've really had to shift those experiences for our students to make sure that they're going to be relevant in the real world. And so this design class is just one example. When students are in this space, they have to design products, and they know that that takes multiple iterations. And to really get it right, you have to be able to solicit feedback and take that feedback to make something better. But what we do is we make sure that whatever they're designing, it's got to have a purpose. And so there's a whole rubric in our problem bank that says if you're trying to solve a problem, how is it improving life for somebody else? And then go back and go through the design process. And some of the pieces of this program is that they actually have to present and say, here's my business plan, and here's how many hours it takes for me to create this product, and here's how much it costs in labor and in product.
And forgive me, but at what age are they starting this?
This is 6th and 7th and 8th graders.
Wow,
so it's quite advanced, but when you see them actually taking on this challenge and giving them that agency, they rise to that occasion.
Yeah. That's very, and one of the things that surprised me, you were sharing with me that they start Mandarin in 1st grade, is that correct?
Spanish or Mandarin, they have that choice, yeah. Okay. So we use they have world language. I think something that's really important to talk about is we try to do what's best for kids always. And previously, we had Spanish and Mandarin in kindergarten, and that would be, they would do a semester of Spanish and a semester of Mandarin. And what we realized is if you're not doing full immersion in Spanish or Mandarin, we're not getting our bang for our buck in that language. We're also taking pieces out of the time of the day for literacy for kindergarten. So the decision was made to shift it back to first grade and either be Spanish or Mandarin, and to give those kindergarten teachers more time with their students to teach, those early literacy skills that are incredibly important to create that foundation. That's not an easy decision. It affects staffing, it affects scheduling, but it's what's best for kids. And those are the shifts and changes that we're always doing and re-looking at, and making sure that we're always doing best practices for kids, no matter what age they are, keeping it really, really relevant, but with them always at the center of it. So yeah, Spanish and Mandarin first grade now.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
And then when you get to middle school, you get to choose again, and it's Spanish, Mandarin, or French.
Okay.
Yeah. You add another language choice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm like motivated. I wanted to, wish I would have went to school here.
I know. We say that all the time.
So talk to us a little bit about the campus as well. So I think we sit on, 33 acres here?
We do. Yep.
And you're just at the bend here of the 215, or just off the 215 in Desert Inn. Maybe could you touch just a little bit on the campus overall? And
Yeah, and we're sitting close to the foot of Red Rock Canyon, and so lots of field trips take place in that natural landscaper classroom for really helping kids learn about nature and getting that joy of being outdoors, asking questions, being curious. It's a really important piece to us. Our campus is quite expansive, and we have an organic garden, which is the largest garden west of the Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
And our students take care of it. And it's something that's part of the program, that they have their hands in the soil and they understand food sustainability. There's lots of wide open spaces here because we want our kids enjoying that space together, from the athletic fields to down in our lower school playground. You'll see even in our middle school, they have their own playground as well, because as a challenge success school, it's so important that kids know that play is part of life. And it's so important to live that well-balanced life. So we make sure that we have spaces developmentally prepared for all of our kids.
Wow, that's cool. And one of the things I want to touch on, you brought it up earlier. So you were talking about you'd proposed you needed some shelving for your office, and so I thought that was really cool. Where it's like submitted, and then the kids make a plan for it, and
So we have one of the electives is called Tech for Good. So it's, again, like Roxanne, it circles back to that, and I think it's really and being relevant. So I needed some admissions shelving outside of the gym, and I could easily go order that on Amazon or something. But rather than do that, I put in a problem in the problem bank, and they show me multiple iterations. They create all kinds of models of possibilities, and then build that for me, and of course charge me for it. So I do have to pay for that. But I think my most favorite in that is the other side of it. In early childhood, well, they're very small. We're getting ready to redesign a patio space, and the early childhood children have a lot of opinions on what they want out there. So we gathered all of that.
They're very creative.
Of course, yeah. So we gathered all of that information and shared it with one of the Tech for Good students who is partnering with me, and she built a mock-up in Tinkercad, and then put the programming on VR goggles, and the early childhood children got to see that what it will eventually look like on virtual reality goggles. So just small things that just go a little bit extra that completely engaged our Tech for Good students, and they're giving back to a space that most of them started. A lot of them started in EC, and now they're finishing out their career, and they're just spending time helping the school be better and better.
And what is the problem bank? You mentioned the problem.
It's the website that they use. So
anybody within our community and even beyond our community can submit problems. And it just goes back to what education needs to be all about, and that's real world application.
Solving problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's important. I mean, in sales, that's one of the most important things in sales is solving problems, right? And I think in real world, I mean, I've seen it just with having employees and stuff like that. That's an important factor in any role, is being able to problem solve.
Yeah.
I want to touch with you on the relationship or partnership that you have with Stanford University.
Sure.
Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So Alexander Dawson is the first challenge success school in Nevada. And when I go back to talking about whole child education, we started as a whole child education program 25 years ago. And then when we discovered the research coming out of Stanford University that really talks about how every child should have their individualized path to success, it resonated with everything that we believe, and we were able to root that into some really sound research. And so challenge success really is trying to protect childhood so that kids can see that it's okay to enjoy your childhood. And that the stressors and the anxiety that sometimes gets placed on kids at an early age is something we can protect them from. And so we do that by giving them voice, and we give them choice, and we listen deeply. When they talk about their schedule, or they talk about a class, or they have feedback to give us, we sit and listen. And that's an important piece of creating a community where kids feel heard, they feel seen, they feel valued, but they also know that this is the time to discover lots of different passions before they figure out what their road is. Yeah. And so often I think you get the kids, those families might say, like, my child's going to Harvard. Like, that's it. We've decided. And yet you don't know what this child's going to like. And their success might look different. It might not be it. We've got to wait and see. Kind of give them that space to find out who they are.
And the Challenge Success Program, is that something that you guys developed here? Is that like a nationwide program? What is that?
Yeah, so it was founded at Stanford.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So all of their research on student wellness really drove them to say we have to take action, and we have to make sure that schools are doing right by kids and giving them that space to not have 3 to 4 hours of homework a night, and not be living in this world where they no longer have downtime. They no longer have time just to go hang out with friends, or to find some passion that they want to engage in beyond the school day.
Yeah. Awesome. One of the things I wanted to also ask you, and I just drew a blank there for a minute, but of course, the big question always comes up with private schools is how much, right?
Yeah.
So we touched a little bit on tuition. Could we talk a little bit about that, and also the different programs? I know you guys have some scholarship programs and that type of stuff as well. So could we talk about that a little bit?
And I think it's important to differentiate. When you say private schools, that's a big umbrella, because there's private schools that are for profit, and there's private schools that are nonprofit. We're a nonprofit. We're an independent school, which means we have a board, and independent schools typically have the higher tuition. The reason being, everything we bring in goes right back to the school. So we're not looking to make a profit on anything. And I think that's a big extinction.
For sure. So, we talk about it with families all the time that we want it to just be one cost. So our tuition next year will be $29,750 for kindergarten through 8th grade. Early childhood is $21,000, but that includes everything that they'll need throughout the school day. So all of the food that they have. So we have an unbelievable chef on campus. Everything is created from scratch here. Often they can use things from the garden to feed us. So we eat really well. It includes all curriculum. It includes all technology, any supplies that they have. So once the family, is working on and paying tuition, that's really the only thing that they need to worry about. We ask, the uniforms are a small different cost, but for us, it's important that it's just an all in, and then we do it. And as Roxanne mentioned, everything goes back to the children. It's really important for us. And we will continue to do that and make sure that we're providing as much as we can for them with best practices and using that.
Awesome. So one of the things too, guys, we're going to take a little tour of the school here in a bit. So we'll have some of that cut into this video so that you can see around the school as well. Just as we wrap up here, if I was a parent, living out of state, and I'm watching this video today, is there, for me, and I'm thinking about moving to Nevada, but my hesitation is the Clark County School District, or what I hear about it. What would be the one thing that you would share with them to reassure them that bringing their family here to Southern Nevada is a good choice, and that, specifically bringing their children here to Alexander Dawson is the right move for them?
I think it's about community, and I think every family is looking for a school where their child can be seen and valued, and those relationships that you can have with teachers and other adults are really important. And not just for the kids. I think families need a community as well. And so when you look at a school like Alexander Dawson, it's more than just where your child goes to school from 8 to 3:15. It is about, we're part of something bigger than ourselves, and we are involved in a community that will always put kids first. And I think that should feel good for anybody who's moving to Las Vegas to know that that type of school exists. And I was going to ask you, so you guys go up to 8th grade here. Where do you typically see most of the kids go after they leave here to go for high school?
Yeah, we're incredibly lucky. We have a high school placement team. As they enter 8th grade, they're partnered. Each family and student is partnered with a faculty member. They talk to them about what their children are thinking, what they're thinking, which sometimes is two different things. We're really fortunate. We have excellent relationships with all of the high schools in town. They value our students. They actually want them. You know, we constantly gather data on them as they leave us. And it depends. You know, we have a sister school in Gorman, which we have typically 100% acceptance rate. They come here to do registration for us, but also it's about, Roxanne said, partnership and community. Our students that go to the Meadows, which is another competitor for us that has an early childhood through 8th grade, but also a high school, you know, when it's a shadow day time, they send their bus and pick up our children and take them to Dawson and make sure, or take them to Meadows and partner them with a Dawson graduate so they have that shadow experience. Faith Lutheran is the same thing. So we spend a lot of time making sure that we can help them find the right fit and showcase them. We also have a large number of children who consider and think about boarding schools. And last year we held, and this year we invited 11 boarding schools to our campus and opened it up to the community to gather information on boarding schools and what does that look like and is that the right fit. And you know, our children typically do really well. They often get into their first choice, if not their second choice. Yeah. And then we track them, you know, as they go to high school and as they move on to college or entrepreneurial opportunities. We have a really active alumni group. We have an event tomorrow that we have, I think, 90 alumni returning to us on Friday afternoon to play in some sports games against the faculty members and eat spaghetti in the dining hall. And they always speak at our graduations. So for us, you know, it's again, partnership and community. What's the best fit? You've been with us now. What are you thinking of now? Let's get you where you need to go and partner and move through. But I think we're really, really lucky that, again, it's the same thing. We're going to do everything we can as that student transitions and leaves from us to guarantee their success and help them, you know, and their family adjust as they make a different change.
Something I wanted to bring up, it was something a while back when one of my clients was looking to move to Southern California, and I was sending them information on private schools. Yeah. I didn't go to private school here. I went to public school. So, you know, learning about the private schools was a new thing for me as well. One of the things I recall reading in there was a grade or a percentage of children who end up going on to college. And I noticed it was different with every school. Yeah. And I recall Alexander Dawson being very high. Yeah. I apologize, I don't remember the exact term that they used or what it was that they were sharing, but is there a percentage of children, is there, you know, someone's child coming to Alexander Dawson versus going to one of the public schools? Does it increase their chance of getting into that desired college or something? Is there a way that you guys gauge that or track that to be able to share that with clients that yes, when you know your kid comes to our school, their chances of getting into their preferred college or something like that is going to be much higher? Is there any type of tracking or anything like that that goes on that you can share with the parents?
Yeah, I think it's really the one-off stories. Okay. So because we do not have the high school, we do not have the data.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
But what we know about our students is that they come back and they tell their success stories. And when we ask them, like, what is it that got you to where you are? Whether it's a doctor or a lawyer, starting your own business, whatever it is that they followed their passion, like, what do you attribute it to? And they will say, like, it was my 7th grade science class where I actually got to be a doctor and diagnose people. They point to things and experiences from Dawson that help shape that mindset that allowed them to open up lots of doors. And I think that's the important piece, is that to really have those world readiness skills, you have to have the competencies to be able to be versatile and to look at challenges and not give up and not want to remove obstacles but work through obstacles. And we think if we give our students all of those mindsets, it doesn't matter where they go, they're going to find that success. And for us, that success is having really healthy relationships and having the flexibility to pivot if something isn't working in their life. And so those are the stories that we continue to tell, and the stories that we continue to look for in our graduates.
I'm laughing inside because I'm hearing them singing next door, and it's like the cutest thing ever. I can't help but be a little distracted, right? But it's really cute. So one of the things that I wanted to touch on, and you brought it up regarding diversity, and that's why I was touching on like the scholarship programs and stuff. And I thought that was a really important thing, because I think obviously some parents are probably concerned about that if their kid goes to private school, that they're limited in who they're going to be engaging with. Sure. either one of you touch on that a little bit on how you guys make sure that that's an important part of this school?
Yep.
Sure. And thanks for circling back to that, because I do think it's incredibly important. We have a diversity statement at the school that we're really, really dedicated to, and we're learning and we're changing and growing. But what we know is that we need to have a school environment that's going to be conducive to the outside world when they leave. So when we talk about diversity, it's many things. It's cultural and racial, it's socioeconomic, it's neurodiversity, and it's coming into other things. So we have $1.8 million that we give away for tuition assistance every year. That is, given to us every year. It's guaranteed. And we work really, really hard to continue to provide this opportunity for many different types of students. It's an incredible opportunity. We know that. We wish everybody could have this opportunity. But for us, it's a very, very important piece of it. And so we work really hard to exhaust that amount. We also have other scholarships available. We have some that are in the name of our founder of our school and then of a long-standing board member, and it really just sort of depends on the student and what that looks like. But we want to make sure that we're offering lots of different opportunities for all different types of students to have this opportunity and to show and learn and grow what their passions are. So for us, it's a big commitment, and it's something that we're continuing to build on every year. It's something we're both really passionate.
That's great. I think it's great, especially for someone watching who may feel that they can't afford. There's at least those other opportunities for scholarships and that type of stuff and assistance for their children to come here. As we wrap up and finish here towards the end, the one thing as I was reading through your website was the core values, and it definitely caught my attention because I'm staring up here at the bear as well.
Yeah.
Could you touch on your core values?
Yes, we have 4 values. It is belonging and advocacy and engagement and resilience, and it spells out bear. But we just really believe
Is that the school mascot, bear?
He's a bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's easy to remember. Every kid can cite our core values. But values are what give you purpose, and we want our kids to have purpose. So everything that we do here, it's all aligned, and it all comes back to those values. And there's nothing more important than our kids leaving here having strong values.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Roxanne and Krista, thank you so much for taking the time today. I hope we've shared enough information for people who are looking to prospectively move to Southern Nevada and thinking and considering the school systems in that. And they'll consider you guys as part of that, their exploration and coming here. Would you mind sharing with them how they can best get in contact with you if they're looking to tour the school?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is www.adsrm.org. It's Alexander Dawson School at Rainbow Mountain. But also anybody on my admissions team, you can certainly reach out to me. I'm the director of admissions, or actually anybody. Honestly, if you call, they'll talk to you forever about who we are and what we do, and they'll eventually get you to the right spot. But we actually, lots of information on our website, but we're always happy to have families come in and tour. I urge you to come see the school, walk around, see the kids in action, because they're the magic. That's who you should have interviewed today, some kids. But yeah, please come visit us anytime. We're happy to show you around.
That's awesome. And again, I want to point out, like I said, when talking to you guys before we went on camera, you're both so passionate about this place. And obviously that translates into the education for the kids and everything else, because you are so passionate about it. And that's obviously translates down to their education. So I just wanted to point that out as something that I noticed that I thought was really important. So guys, if you have any questions, if you don't remember the website and you want to reach out to me, I can always put you in contact with them as well. So again, we're going to take you on a little tour of the school as well, and hopefully this gave you some great information today. If you have any questions, you can DM me or you can reach out to me directly at 702-485-7755. And that's it. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
All right.
We appreciate it.
Yep. Bye-bye.